Welcome guys, and join me on this episode when Sailing Mac Daddy goes solo. And welcome. It is the evening of the day before, and I've just got a couple of things on the boat. Brought some bottles of water and some food that I can bring in without any sort of like frozen or chilled stuff, which is still in the fridge at home. Yeah, I'm kind of ready to go. I'm nervous. I'm not gonna lie, I am nervous, but at the same time, I know I can do it, if that makes sense. It's like, there's nothing too difficult there, it's just, everything I've kind of done in theory. It's just a matter now of putting that into practice and trying to get that experience of, being more confident, with the boat and on my own, and yeah, okay, everyone knows, and I've been quite honest with how I've documented it. I've made mistakes, trust me, I have made mistakes on this boat, and the one thing that I always say, like I said before in one of my other videos, is that, as long as you learn from your failures and your mistakes, then you go in the right place, you go in the right way. So, yeah. I guess I will see you in the morning, and I hope I'm ready to go, and yeah, we shall see. Let's have a look at the passage first that I'm going to be taking from basically from Llan Steffan in the Towie estuary up to Milford. So let's have a look at Windy and the charts and see what we got to do. So as usual, I'd be coming out of Carmarthen Bay, sitting about 13 knots behind me, and with the tide as well ripping out, so that'll be pretty good. Which will help me get down to around here, about Caldy, in about 2 hours. So you're looking at about 11, 10 knots, something like that. Again, with the wind behind me, I should get round St. Govan's, Cardinal Buoy, then south of that. This gives me about 12, 13 knots there. And then as we kind of come up past Castle Martin, the wind will obviously be on my beam, again blowing a good 12 knots, and then around Turbot Banks, I probably won't go this far up, but yeah, and then straight into the haven then. So you're looking a good like 11 knots then before we get into Milford. So that's looking nice. Stay over in Milford, and then the next day is where it starts getting a little bit fun. So coming out at let's say around 9 o'clock with 11 knots, which is fine, and on the way back then just repeating the pattern, and so we're just on different tack coming up past Castle Martin, and we still got a good, well, we did have a good 11 knots, but now the wind has kind of veered, and it's dropped dramatically, and you see this kind of this blue area with only like 2 to 4 kind of knots. And if that is the case, I'm gonna have to motor most of the way. Who knows, but yeah, so we're looking at, look at this area here, 2 knots, just that little area. I'm like, I'm not going to go anywhere, I'm just going to be bobbing around in the water. So yeah, and I need to get back in then by about 9 o'clock. I think it's about 9 o'clock, so I need to be here by about 7 to give me 2 hours then to get back up the estuary. So yeah, so it's not looking too good, but that's the score. Now you might be wondering why I've been going so far out when I was looking at Windy, and the reason is that as soon as I come out of the Carmarthen Bay, you've got Pendine Fire Range, then you've got Penally Range, then we've got Manabia Range, and then further on along the coast we've got Castle Martin Range. So we've got 4 firing ranges, which is, just one of those things, unfortunately. So you can see, obviously on my charts how far out they they stretch, and in some cases, I think that Castle Martin is something like 8 miles. Although I did manage to get hold of Castle Martin and said, how far out do you want me? And they said just stay south of St. Govan, Cardinal Buoy, and if you do notice that there's bullet holes on the starboard side as you're coming past, you're a bit too close. So I thought that was pretty cool. So he's a nice guy in all fairness. So here you can see, if I was to stick to the actual boundary, I'm looking at about 8 miles to stay offshore. Fun. Good morning. Slight change of plan. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning. You can see the sun coming through now as it's just rising over the brow. I went and checked the inshore forecast this morning, and it was saying anything between 4 to 6, occasionally 7. The seas to be kind of moderate to rough, slight, turning to slight, but at the same time I'm thinking to myself, do you know what, do I really want my first solo kind of outing to be in force 6? I've been there, I've done that, worn the t-shirt, and it's fun, that's fine, but at the same time not on my own. So I am going to in the words of Monty Python and the Holy Grail, I'm gonna run away. And I'm wimping out for this one. I've just checked on the wind gauge here. Now you can see, it's already blowing, 15, 16, and we're pretty, pretty sheltered around here at the moment, with an easterly. So what it's going to be like I don't know what it's going to be like out there, and where I'm moored, as soon as I go over that sandbar, that's it. I can't come back in until the next high tide. It'd be fine if we were in a marina or somewhere where I've got a constant kind of depth. I could go out and go, oh no, it's not for me, and then come straight back, and that would be fine, but I'm not risking even just taking it for 12 hours. It's not 12 hours, but it is actually, so so I don't really want to risk it, to tell you the truth. So unfortunately the solo sail is gonna have to be postponed, which I'm absolutely gutted about, because I was really looking forward to my lunch today, because I had stuffed ravioli and some arrabbiata sauce to go with it. Oh well, alright, I guess I'll just have to have chicken casserole instead. So anyway, cool. So until next time. Okay, let's try this again. So we are back on the boat. I just don't want to be doing that. So back on the boat, and we are going out. I am going out. So I don't think I could get more kind of favourable conditions today. I think the initial forecast was wind was 2 to 4. With kind of like slight to smooth to slight seas. So well, I'm committed now. Let's let's get over that command bar as quickly as possible. Catch you in a bit. So we're underway. I think I was about, maybe about 5 minutes until high tide, so I think we're about slack at the moment. I've been poodling on down the river now, just to the off the starboard bow. I've got Llanstaffan Castle coming into ferry side as we speak on the port side, and then yeah, over the bar. I'm looking over the bar at the moment. I can't see any white whatsoever, so it's wind with tide, so it should be fairly flat going over the bar. Just got to watch out for some of the buoys now, some of the mooring buoys off ferry side. I got my line, like I'm connected, you know. I've got my harness, I suppose what you call it, to strap on. This is something on my day skipper course my instructor Lara told us about, and she always said to like have it on you, looped around. So better to have it and never need it than to kind of get into bad weather or something like that and, you know, have to go and search around finding lines and what have you. So cool. So yeah, let's get past ferry side and get over the bar, and so far so good. I don't think we're gonna have many problems today. Like I say, at the moment I've got 0 knots of wind, so it might be a day of motoring, but there are some sailboats out here, so there is wind out there. It's just a matter of just getting the sails up then, and yeah, but my windometer is not turning at all. Typical. So I'm coming up to a part of the estuary now, just before like kind of going over the command bar, where the 3 rivers kind of conjoin together. So we've got on the port side, because we're coming out over here, that is the River Gwendraeth. It's Gwendraeth River there. We're still on the Towie here, so the Towie's going there, back all the way back up to Carmarthen, and then over this side then there's the Avon Towie, coming down through kind of Larne and what have you, down there, and then out here then we've got Pendine Sands and what have you, so on that sort of stretch. And then right in front of us, just maybe about there, yeah, about there, is Caldy Island, and you can just about make out, I think, Tenby just over on the side. The visibility is pretty good today, so yeah, so that's where we're at the moment. So we are approximately, let's have a look, what's the time? What's the time, Mr. Wolf? Yeah, we're about 10:30, so we've been going for about 3/4 of an hour. So yeah, so usually it takes about an hour to get over the bar, and then all good. Got about 6 knots of wind coming over off the beam, and I'm feeling brave enough just to put the Genoa out, so let's try that. and we're sailing. Just like that. Not sailing very fast, but it's still sailing. So got out and thought I could put the genoa up, so that's fine. I thought right, I'll put the auto tiller on now. So run down, switch the auto tiller on. There's no power. I'm like, oh man, that's not coming on. What's going on here? So I wound up the tiller, did a makeshift kind of like kind of auto tiller just with a rope just to hold my course, and then went down and pulled all the wiring out and got into the back of it and realised that I disconnected the main feed into it because I was testing something. I can't remember what I was testing, but I was testing something the other day. So I took the main feed into the unit away. So, oh well, never mind. So I've reconnected that. The unit's back on. Auto tiller's working. So we got about 9-10 knots now. We're kind of gumming just behind me here. We are kind of hitting Pendine Sands, and I'm strapped in, so yeah, all good. This is amazing, absolutely amazing. Seven knots of wind. We're doing about 3.5 knots speed over ground. So I'm gonna have to do it on my own at some point. Let's get the main up. Right. I'm currently in the middle of editing this episode, and I was almost in two minds to put that bit of footage in where I'm kind of raising the mainsail, because looking back, I'm so frustrated with myself for not just doing as I know I should. So putting up the sails, you know, you should head into wind, so the wind's on the nose, and then just raise the mainsail. What I should have done is got out my auto tiller, headed into the mains, into the wind, and then just raised the head sail, and everything would have been fine. But the way I was doing it, I was trying to use the rope around the tiller and trying to do a makeshift kind of like auto tiller there for some reason, and then as I was putting the mainsail up, the battens were getting stuck on the jack stays as I was going up, so I was having to drop it down and then alter my course and then wait for it the sail to luff, and then kind of trying to pull it up quickly again, you know, haul it again. But yeah, as you can see, it was such a mess. But I thought, no, I'm going to leave it in, and I'm just going to come clean and be like, hey, this is not how you do it. But yeah, so sorry. Okay, so I am down in the saloon, and like I said, we are currently doing about 4 knots speed over ground. We've got about 7 to 8 knots of wind, there or thereabouts. So yeah, so we're just pootling on along nicely. I want to find out how long it's going to take me from where I am now to get to Caldy Island. So I've worked out using this, which is the Sea Guide to Pembrokeshire by Tom Bennett. All right, I love this little book. So it's got great information there. It tells you all about, you know, the sounds and what time.
Mayday relay, mayday relay, mayday relay. All stations, all stations, all stations. This is Falmouth Coast Guard, Falmouth Coast Guard, Falmouth Coast Guard. Red flare report. Information number 1. Begin Mayday. Red flare reported.
Hello, hello, hello.
Be 1 nautical mile west of Ilfracombe. Associated to small boat close to White Pebble Bay Beach. Possibly 3 persons on board. At 1055 UTC. Head. Vessel may be underway. Any vessel with information or able to proceed and investigate to contact Falmouth Coast Guard, Channel 16. Falmouth Coast Guard coordinating. Date time group 181055 UTC. This is Falmouth Coast Guard.
Well, I was not expecting that. And a butterfly came in. Weird. Right, let's get some air through here, actually. Oh, there's more.
This is Falmouth Coast Guard as a response to the Mayday relay, over.
Right, I'm going to turn that down a little bit. So I want to find out how long it's going to take me to get to Caldy. Let me just poke my head up, just so we can see. So if you can see in the distance over there, that's Tenby, and then just over there underneath the Genoa, that piece of land there, that's Caldy Island. So what I did is recently I have just taken a plot off my GPS, and so I've plotted where, I took my GPS plot. I'm going to now look at it on the map, on my chart. Sorry, they're not called maps. I remember my instructor telling me that they're not called maps, Nick. So I'm going to check them on my charts, and then I'm trying to find out how long it's going to take me to get to Caldy, because, as I was saying before, using that Sea Guide to Pembrokeshire, I've worked out that you know, the through Caldy Sound, there could be either 1.5 to 2 knots, depending on what direction it's running, whether it's running east or west. But it runs from west to east, so from kind of Milford towards Tenby. It runs that direction from 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 5 hours after high tide Milford. Okay, so which means that I've got, because high tide was about 10 o'clock today, so I've got until 2 o'clock to get through Caldy Sound, going from Tenby Way past through to Lidstep. And if I can't do it before then, I'll probably veer around the south side of Caldy Island instead, because otherwise I'll just be against tide. So give me 2 seconds, I will be back in uno minito. Okay, so sorry. As of 12 o'clock, which was about 6 minutes ago, so we'll bear with that one in mind, I was 51 degrees 41.55 north by 004 degrees 30.37 west. So using my map here, so I'm going to use 51 at 41.5, so 41 takes me here to around here somewhere on this line, and then I am then 00430, there you go, so I'm actually on here, so I am on there, that's it there, that's it there, so I'm about here at 1200 hours DST, not UT. Okay, cool, so yeah, so I'm probably about on this 10 meter contour line, which now means that if I kind of do this and try and work out what my, that's 1 mile there, so I'm about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so I'm probably about 6 to 7 miles away. So I'm doing about 4 knots, so it's going to take me about 2 hours to get there. So just under 2 hours to get there. Okay, so 2 hours, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock to get to Caldy Sound. I'm probably gonna have to go along the south side of on the south and go around Caldy rather than through the Sound, because I doubt that I'm gonna be able to make it through there before 2 o'clock, because then the tide is gonna be hitting against me and I don't fancy that. Okay, well, there you go, you learned something, hopefully. Now, another way that I could have checked where I was, if I didn't take my GPS and take the coordinates off there, I could have done maybe, you know, a running fix or something like that. That would have worked, or maybe, you know, a bearing off something offshore, you know, and see if I could do like a 3-way fix. To double check as well, I can always, you know, make sure. Now, what I thought I was is that I thought I was on the 10 meter contour line. That was about 10-15 minutes ago, thereabouts. But when you look here, there's my, I don't know if you see that, but yeah, I'm about 13 meters for my depth, which, you know, if that was saying 20 or 5, then, you know, I'd probably be thinking, oh, that's not right, because, you know, from the charts it was saying I was around the 10 meter contour. So yeah, so that all kind of aligns. So I'm happy. So yeah, it was worth doing my my day skipper and yacht master theory. I feel far more confident knowing where I am, you know, if anything should happen, which is not going to. No, and nothing bad anyway. Well, that was a bit of a moment. As you kind of come into Caldy around the in between Caldy and South Beach of Tenby, there's two cardinal buoys. One's a southerly cardinal buoy, just after it's a northerly cardinal buoy as you head towards Caldy Sound. And I was going to go around the outside and hug the shore basically on the Tenby side. And I was looking on my chart plotter, and I was then thinking, okay, well, that can't be right. I can't see my cardinal buoys anywhere. And then with that, then I could see the southerly cardinal buoy, and I was like, oh, that's all the way down there. It's fine. Don't worry. I'll keep going. And then I looked over my bow, and I could see all this kind of like unsettled water, just awash, just all this yeah, just across the bow, and I was like, that doesn't look right. And then as I kind of got nearer, I was like, those are rocks. Okay, so I literally put the engine on, spun right around, pulled the sails in, went all the way around the southerly marker, and then zipped back up then inside the northerly marker to make it inside the Caldy Sound. So yeah, so we're currently, and the wind's weird now. It was supposed to be a northerly, but yeah, I'm not sure what's happened here. There seems to be like a northwesterly or a westerly breeze, but anyway, so I'm on a different tack, and I am heading towards Lidstep, I think. But yeah, just to the side of me here, you see Caldy Island, and then this is stunning. This is, look at this. You know, there's Gilter Point there, and then all this. You know, look at all these coves, these little bays there. It's beautiful, absolutely stunning. These guys got the right idea. Got little fishing boats out there, right, hugging up close to the shore and getting themselves some bass or something like that for lunch. So actually it's coming up to 2 o'clock, so lunch sounds pretty good in all fairness. So I'm gonna get myself some southern fried chicken and pasta. Meal deal from Tesco's. Other supermarkets are available. Well, I couldn't pick a better place. I've just hove to. I'm literally just outside Lidstep. I would go into Lidstep, but there's about 3 jet skis just tearing all the way back and forth. So I was like, I don't need that. So I was going to think about going a bit further over to the next cove, but to tell you the truth, you know, the wind's changed. The wind seems to have kind of veered. No, it's backed. Sorry, it's backed to almost like a westerly. So I'm just at the end of Caldy Sound, hove to, as you can see. Till it's hard over. So I'm in, you know, about 14 meters of water. I'm having my pasta and enjoying an alcohol-free beer.
Any vessel in the vicinity of Port Einan, able to assist either a paddleboard or a kayak, deemed to be orange in colour. Contact Milford Coast Guard direct on channel 16.
Oh, right. I have stop getting blinded by my chart plotter. That's it. I've had some lunch and had some water and pasta and stuff. I sat down here and chilled out for a little bit, just watching watching the jet skis go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So yeah, I'm probably just gonna have a little sail across to the next cove from Lidstep, see how far I get, and then by about 4:30,
if I'm doing about 4 knots, which I have been doing consistently today, I've got about 12 nautical miles back. It's going to take me about 3 hours. It's taken me a bit longer than that to get to where I am now. So I want to stay conservative. I want to be at the bar by about 8:30, ready to kind of see if I can just come in slowly and try not to hit the sandbank this time. So at least this time I know I'm going to definitely put my sails down and I'll come in under control. So that's the plan anyway. Whether it works or not, who knows? Let's get some sailing done. Well, the wind's picked up. At some points it was gusting about 20. It's dropped that down now to about 15. But what that means now is that it's whipped up the sea a little bit. The sea state is a bit choppy. I'm still about, I don't know, about 6.5 miles away from the Carmarthen bar. It's about 6 o'clock now, and I'm doing about 3.5 knots, so I'm still a little bit early. So yeah, it's a bit rocky at the moment because obviously the swell is, it's a northerly wind now, which means that the swell is hitting the port side beam. So yeah, but there is, off my starboard bow, another sailing vessel out there. They're brave enough to have their main up as well. I just, once it started hitting about 15, 16, I was like, I gotta get these sails down myself, and I whipped out. So I ended up putting the mainsail down, and I'm just like playing with my foresail at the moment. So I'm not sure, but it was at that time that the battery died on the GoPro, and yeah, I didn't manage to film the rest of it. So I've come out today on a nice little coastal path to tell you what actually happened next, because it was at that point forward there where things kind of got a little bit hairy, and I probably went into a bit of a panic attack, kind of meltdown, and started panicking. But hey ho. So we're here. I say here, you can't even see it at the moment, so I'll spin you around. So down below here, this is the River Taff, which we talked about before, and then just opposite, you can't see me fall the other side, that around the corner there is Kevin Sheedan. Just inside there is the River Gwendryth. Straight over the other side there, that's the Worm's Head off the Gower Peninsula. And then all the way over to there, that little land mass there, that's Caldy Island. And then you got Tenby, Gilter Point there. And then this bit of land coming back here, then this coastline, there's your Pendine Sands. Okay, so we're kind of back where we started, which is pretty cool. Obviously we're on low tide now. I think the tide's about to turn. But yeah, so you can see the bar goes all the way out to there, and kind of what you kind of have to navigate really to come back in. But yeah, so what happened? Well, let's tell you a little story. So as I said, what I wanted to happen was I wanted for myself to be around at this point here by about 8 o'clock. And that would have given me, I thought, enough time to kind of get over the bar and get back in on time. The high tide that night was 10 o'clock. And I was kind of hoping to be back and moored up by about 9:30 at the latest, to tell you the truth. There'd still be enough light then to kind of get me onto the pontoon or the mooring or whatever it is. And then, as it turned out, I was against the wind. Now, the tide should have been with me at that point. And when I've sailed in the past, I've ripped in there, you know, a good 7 knots coming in there. But for some reason, the wind against me, I had probably about 22 knots against me and against the head. So I couldn't sail into it. So I had to motor. Now, I was doing probably about 3.5 knots with the motor. I didn't want to push it too hard. Because what tends to happen with my engine is that once you kind of push her on full throttle, she tends to smoke a little bit, as if she's kind of burning oil. So I'll have to look at that at some point. But so it was choppy getting back, and I could see the other person that had gone out before me this morning. They came back, but obviously they had a motorboat, so they were probably doing about a good 8 knots. They were just flied around there, got to about the bar by about 8 o'clock, and then just I could just see them going past and going in and stuff. And I thought to myself, oh, I'm not going to catch them, am I? And so I was like, oh dear. So yeah, at that point I was like, I was going to have to keep going in. It did cross my mind to try and kind of maybe tack back and forth, but on my own, I don't know how much time that would have actually saved, kind of zigzagging, or whether I just went 3.5. You know, if it added an extra knot, then fine, fair enough. But anyway, so I got to a point, and I started measuring out on the map on my charts. I was thinking, how much time I've got left, how much speed am I doing, and I was working it out. I was going, oh my God, I'm not going to get there on time. I'm going to get there about like 10 o'clock or just after 10. And, you know, I was thinking, this is not on, you know, and I know that the tide will rip out of that estuary pretty quick. And if I've got the tide against me and 21 knots of wind coming on my, you know, on my nose, I'll probably be like doing 4 knots on the boat and then probably doing like 1 knot of speed over ground, you know, which would mean that I wouldn't be getting in till like 11 o'clock or something like that, or 11:30 at night, you know. So I was like, oh, this isn't happening. So I ended up kind of ringing my wife and I was freaking out. She's like, you need to chill out. And I was like, oh my God, I've got my times mixed up. But yeah, so that was crazy. I ended up getting over the bar. Probably, I remember ringing her here. We just got to where the kind of the three. That's the Gwendroith kind of river, just up there, just opposite the Carmarthen park there, Carmarthen Holiday Park. So there's your Gwendroith River, there's your Taff, and then the Towie runs straight up there. So I got to about here, and I remember saying to her, I'm not going to make it. I don't know what to do. And she's like, you just got to keep going. And I think at that point, I put the engine in full. And I just thought, just don't look back. Then you don't see the smoke. This is another thing that you know that my wife does. If she hears squeaking or something on her car, she'll turn the music up, because then it's not really there because she can't hear it. So I did the same thing, and I was like, I'm just not going to look back and not going to see the smoke, so it's not actually happening. And I was pootling along at about 4.5 knots then. So I was like, okay, this is fine. Everything's fine. This is good. I managed to get hold of someone from the club, and I was like, hey, if I come in, can I sling you my lines? I'm literally going to be touch and go. And he was there, so you know, he was a lifesaver. Yeah, so I managed to pull in eventually at about just after 10, I think it was. Pulled up, and I was literally getting so dark, and I was worried about, you know, looking for pots or mooring buoys or whatever. But yeah, managed to get onto the pontoon, tied myself off, or we tied off, and then within 15 minutes it was pitch black. It was dark, and I was like, oh my God, I was so lucky with it, because I just had this idea of thinking, what do I do if that's the case and I can't get in, and there's no lights to take me in. I'd have to be going in blind to a certain extent. There's no lights on the pontoon. Yeah, I was freaking out, thinking I'm going to have to drop anchor in the middle of the river, sleep on the boat overnight, and then, you know, it's like, it was all going through my head. But anyway, that was yesterday, and here we are talking about it today and laughing. So there's the moral of the story, you know, is the fact that, like, sometimes, you know, what might seem to be a disaster at the time, just a bit of time and, you know, moments to reflect, helps to you know, realize that it's not all that bad, you know, and life goes on. So yeah, anyway, I think it's fair to say that we will call it a day on this one. Thank you for watching another episode, another disaster. No, in all fairness, it was great. It was a great experience, and like I say, it was a roller coaster of emotions. But yeah, I can't wait to get out there again now. Yeah, as always, if you like this, and you know, please do, you know, share away, share, like, subscribe, leave a comment. You know, yeah, I enjoy reading the comments, most of them. Anyway, cool. I will see you on the flip side, guys. Look after yourselves. Take care.